Guys, welcome back and thanks for tuning in. It's Shayna with the Flemming Team, and today we are going to talk about the most important topic that every homebuyer needs to understand: closing costs. If you're in the market to buy a new home, this video is a must watch. We're going to demystify closing costs and explain exactly what they are so you're well prepared as you continue on the journey of buying a home. And that video starts right now. Closing costs can vary, but they typically include several key components. Let's break them down. Number one, lender fees. These are charges from the mortgage lender. They may include an origination fee, underwriting fee, and application fee. It's essential to understand these fees so you can compare offers from different lenders. All right, number two, title and escrow services. These fees cover the search for the property title history as well as process of transferring ownership from the seller to you. Escrow services ensure that funds and documents are properly managed. Here in South Carolina, we use an attorney. So if you hear that term title or escrow services, just know in South Carolina, we actually use a real estate attorney to handle closings in our state. Number three, appraisal fees. Lenders often require an appraisal to determine the home's market value. The cost of the appraisal typically falls on the buyer. Number four, home inspection. Though not always included in closing costs, it's a wise investment. A home inspection helps you identify any potential issues with the home and any major issues that you may have to address or have the seller address before you close the deal. Number five, property taxes. You may need to prepay a portion of the property taxes for the year. This amount depends on your location and the time of year you're closing. But please understand that a portion of your closing costs is going to include a prorated amount for the year, the remainder of the year that you're going to own the property. And then you'll be credited an amount from the seller for their portion of the property taxes. That way, when the property taxes are due, your mortgage company will take that lump sum and pay the taxes on your behalf. And that's what's included in your escrow account as a part of your mortgage. Number six, homeowners insurance. Most lenders require for you to have homeowners insurance before closing, and you might need to prepay a portion of your annual premium. Typically, what I see at closing is that you're going to pay for the first year, and they take a little bit as well and put into your escrow account for the remainder of the year or the following year. In some instances, you may see a credit back if they take too much. So it really just depends on the lender that you're working with. Number seven, recording and transfer fees. These fees cover the cost of recording the deed and transferring ownership with your local government. Now, the seller does pay the deed stamps, but the attorney does charge you a little fee for doing and recording the deed for you. So they're going to actually pay the fees to get them transferred. The seller's going to pay the fees to have them transferred, but you're going to pay for it to be recorded. Now, if you are buying a new construction home, please know and understand that they do not pay deed stamps or transfer fees. So that's going to be in your closing costs. And you'll typically see with new construction that your closing costs are going to be a little bit higher than if you were to buy a resale home. Number eight, HOA dues. If you're buying a property in a community with a homeowners association, you will pay prorated HOA dues as well as an initiation fee to join the HOA. And that is very typical. Most communities in our area have an HOA, and it's not a bad thing. It keeps your property values up and makes sure that, your neighbors are keeping their yard up to par. They're not parking on the grass. They're not painting their fence a bright pink or purple. So it's honestly a great thing to have if you don't mind having to, submit requests for different things that you're going to do outside of the home. And as long as they're within the covenants and restrictions of the community, you won't have a problem getting it approved by the HOA. And last but not least, miscellaneous costs. This includes things like courier fees, wire transfer fees, and any other miscellaneous expenses that may arise during the process. So let's say maybe you have a credit card or something that you have to pay off at closing to qualify for your mortgage. Or if you decide to do a mail away closing, those are going to be those miscellaneous costs that they're talking about. Estimating your closing costs can be a bit tricky as they vary significantly based on factors like your location, the purchase price of the home, and your lender's policies. A general rule of thumb is to budget for around 2 to 5% of the home's purchase price in closing costs. However, it's always a good idea to ask your lender for a loan estimate, which will itemize these costs for your specific location. Don't forget that in some cases, you can negotiate who pays for certain closing costs. This can be a part of your offer or contract negotiations with the sellers. So be sure to discuss this with your realtor. Now, right now in our market, you can take advantage of closing cost assistance with new construction homes if you use the builder's preferred lender. And I'm seeing closing costs anywhere from $5,000 all the way up to $10,000. So that can really cover majority of your closing costs. And in some instances, you may be able to use the additional funds to buy down your rate, or depending on your loan type, you may be able to get money back at the closing table, which could be awesome for you to use for furniture or to buy that new refrigerator that you want for your beautiful new home. Now, if you're buying a resale home, again, like I mentioned, if you have a great realtor, you can get them to negotiate the seller to pay some of your closing costs. Now, that's not always the case, but it's worth asking. Now, please know and understand that the seller has their own closing costs, so they may not be inclined to give you closing cost assistance, but if you present a great offer, you never know. Closing costs can seem daunting, but they're an essential part of the home buying process. It's crucial to budget for them and understand what you're paying for. Doing so will help you avoid any surprises and ensure a smooth journey to homeownership. All right, guys, so that's a wrap on our guide to understanding closing costs for home buyers. If you found this video helpful, please be sure to give us a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to our channel if this is your first time tuning in. Also, hit that notification bell. That way you're notified every time we post videos like this one. If you have any questions or want to share your own experience with closing costs, please drop a comment in the section below. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Until next time, bye.